AITA for telling my dad I'll move in with my grandparents if he gets back with his third wife. My dad has mostly raised me alone, and we've had a good relationship. But now I, 17F, feel like it might be better to move out and put some distance between us. Dad got custody of me when I was 6 months old. My mom, his first wife, became addicted to drugs, and he left her for my safety. When I was 2.5 comma, she OD'd and was left in an incapacitated state. She's still like that today. She's not really there anymore. Dad stayed close with her parents, my grandparents, since they helped raise me. His second marriage ended because his wife couldn't handle his closeness with them. She thought he wouldn't ever be as close to her parents. One of Dad's friends also said she wasn't cool with the stepmom role. Then came his third wife. I was 7. They were married for 3 years. She didn't want me having a relationship with my grandparents. She implied they were to blame for my mom's addiction. She also acted like she wanted to be my mom, and that keeping my grandparents in my life would ruin that. Dad didn't hear most of her comments. I told him a couple of times, and they talked, but he didn't think she meant it that way. She never outright said contact needed to stop. But then one day when my grandparents came to pick me up, she snapped. She told them, "I'm her mother," and I said no. Dad heard everything. It was messy. She tried to save the marriage by saying she was the only mom I'd remember and that I couldn't lose a third mom in 10 years. Dad divorced her anyway and apologized for not taking stronger action sooner. He's been engaged twice since then, but neither made it to the wedding. Then 2 weeks ago, I found out Dad's been back in contact with his third wife. They've been talking since September. Their messages were flirty, and she wants him back. I didn't see all his replies, only what I saw when he accidentally took my phone to work and left his at home. When I confronted him, he looked awkward and said they were just very good friends and that she's grown a lot. I asked if they were getting back together. He didn't answer. A few hours later, he told me he was inviting her over to see if we could get along. I told him I didn't want to. He invited her anyway. She was all over me, trying to hug me, touch my face, acting like we were close. I had to physically take her hands off me. She joked that she missed her little girl. I wanted to puke. Dad and her were so into each other. It was too much. I talked to my grandparents and they told me I could move in with them. I thought about it for a couple of days. Then I asked Dad about her again. He's crazy in love with her. It disappointed me, but he's an adult. If he wants to be with her, that's his choice. But I want nothing to do with her. I told him if he gets back with her, I'll move in with my grandparents. I asked him to be honest with me if it happens. He asked why I wouldn't give her another chance. He told me he didn't want to lose me. He said, "It's always been us through everything." I told him I know that, but I won't be civil to her. I don't want her in my life. She thinks of me as her daughter, and that disgusts me. I don't want her at my graduation, my wedding, or anywhere near my future kids. I don't want her in my business, touching me, acting like a mom. Dad promised he wouldn't date her if things would get that bad between us, but he's still talking to her. Then she came over when Dad wasn't home and accused me of trying to control him. I don't care if she's upset. I don't care if she's miserable forever. But was it controlling of me to say what I did, Ada?